This was a total waste of time this morning. Alright, well, sorry, we're all pissed off this morning. This was a huge waste of time. The defense is literally wasting my time. This is a complete waste of damn time. I fell asleep, I'll be honest. This was such a waste of time, I fell asleep. Because I'm so tired. And literally, they're going to waste my time with this BS. Alright, I'll go over what the defense said today. Oh my god, I'm so tired. I'm like, I can't believe this is... By the way, before I even get into it, so I'm waiting for people to get on. I have to go. I'm going to Florida for the holidays. So, my boyfriend got me a ticket already. So, 21st, I'm out for a few days. We're all annoyed by everything because this morning was a huge waste. All right, so day 11. The first person they got was Kimberly Espinoza, 55 years old, lives in California. Anyways, she was the executive assistant to Ghislaine. Okay, and they kind of, I feel like they were trying to hint in the beginning, like they were talking about her work now and hinting how, okay, the work she does is pretty much what I think Ghislaine kind of does. Like, she's an assistant, gatekeeper to the CEO. I mean, this is an insinuation, by the way, but they pretty much got her to talk about her work. She's a gatekeeper for this, she's an executive assistant for a CEO of this global company for over 10 years, and she learned everything she learned is pretty much, so much of her career is built on what she learned through Ghislaine. All right, but it's like, okay, fine. She worked there. She didn't see anything. Fine. Can I leave this here? Oh yeah, sure, of course. So when she was, the one part that was everyone was just like, kind of was like a little annoyed about was they were saying California. That she said that she didn't see anybody, that she thought Jane was like 18 years old. But like, how do you know? Like, it is kind of like, how do you know someone's 18 years old? Like, someone you could just like, I know this might be a really silly comparison, but like, I can tell if someone's Korean, Japanese, Chinese. Like, I'm Japanese, Chinese. I can kind of deduct that they're not Japanese, they're not Chinese, so they're probably Korean, you know, and I kind of now have a sense of how Koreans look and act and how they dress and their culture. Look, we all look alike. We're all Asian. We have black hair, black eyes. I get it. But culturally, we're different. And just like, I can't tell, like Joe and I always joke about this, I can't tell who's like, you know, Mexican, Dominican, Ecuadorian. I know, like, sorry to the Latin community. I know you guys get really triggered about that kind of stuff. But like, I know Asians. I that's what I know. And I mention this also because I think when it comes to sexual abuse, I don't know how it is, but like I told you about my friend, she can see who else she can tell who has been a victim. And I asked her, how can you tell? She's like, I don't know. I could feel something within me that's in them. And at first I thought it was just, you know, she was just lucky in the beginning, but then she has this uncanny ability. And I mentioned in a previous live where I had this kind of traumatic experience at the self-help course in Canada, and they just kind of targeted. Everyone just started beating each other up pretty much. And what I realized, they told you to partner up, and as in the beginning we didn't know what was going on, so I partnered up with this like big guy, and you know, they started amping up our emotions and everything. And then when I was had to partner up with a guy, in the beginning, I was like, I got bruised all over, and we were holding, you know, pads and to protect ourselves. But because emotions were so high, even with the pads, I got bruised. So I started picking out people who are weaker than me to partner up with, and it felt like a prison situation where, it's like, live or die. And so I partner up with people who are weaker, and of course, it was easier to beat them up. And I mean, look, people were hurt there. And I actually, they taught us how to choke people out, and that's a whole other situation. Let's go back to the case. But I'm just saying, like, when you are in a dire circumstances, I'm assuming if you are someone with these feelings where you potentially have feelings where you want to rape, murder, whatever, do these horrible things, you could develop an eye for who you want to target, who are the victims, and these are predators. And guess what? There are more predators out there than Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, so I'm trying to give you kind of pertinent information because we for sure didn't get anything today. So we got this executive assistant. She talks about how she didn't see anybody under the age of 18. But it's like, the question is, how do you know someone's 18, right? And I saw a picture of Jane when she was 16, I think 14, 16. She looked, I could see how people can think that she's older than she is, but then she's still a child. How someone looks shouldn't be relevant. The fact that her age was under 18, that is against the law. End of this. Like, all this talk about how she looks above 18. I don't care. Like, why do we have to even talk about this? So the next guy after that was Raghu Sud. He's the VP of Shoppers Travel. So they were asking previously, like, did you, with the executive assistant, did you book travel for these kids, or did Jeffrey Epstein, should I say, or Ghislaine Maxwell book any commercial flights? And then they did establish that Ghislaine was buy some commercial flights. Jane was one of them. But then this guy, prosecution came up and said, but your records show things that are after 1999. So, like, it was just a lot of preamble about what he does, and I'm not even 100% sure why he was there, to be honest. I guess to establish that Jane was Ghislaine purchased commercial flights, that she took commercial flights sometimes, and she wasn't always with Epstein. And then I don't see anything inconsistent with what the prosecution said. Then the last one, which was like really annoying, but I mean, I'm not saying that her research is not valid, but then this woman, she's a professor, and her name was Elizabeth Loftus, and she studies human memory, and she talks about the science of memory. And honestly, some of the stuff she said, I actually feel she talked a lot about misinformation and how that distorts and changes people's thoughts, contaminates your thoughts. And I actually think that's true. But this is not we see we have witnesses testify, and they actually have information that backs up what they're saying. I really hope the jurors can see past this BS. I'm not saying her research is not valid, like how language affects memory, emotional reactions, how a false memory can actually garner the same emotional reaction for an event that didn't happen. You know, that's what they're saying. Like they give an example of like a simulated if you simulate an accident, and you look at the speed of the vehicles, and if you said how fast did the cars smash into each other versus how fast was the vehicle when they hit each other, just using the word smash, people can have memories of glass, shattered glass, even though that was not present, right? You know, that of course, if you use the word smash, it insinuates they'll testify with for a speed that's higher than actually was. Or okay, I'm not saying that's not true, And it is true that this case is, happened years and years and years ago, but I'm not even saying that her research is not valid. It's just it's like what I feel that that witness is there to gaslight the jurors. Like, I feel that's her purpose of being there. And so she showed this she actually showed this diagram, or she drew a diagram saying this is a box, the acquisition phase, right, when the event actually occurred. Then there's a line that she called the retention stage, and then the last box was retrieval. And so, going from the event to how they retrieve, you can go, there could be external and internal retrieval of that. And then obviously external retrieval is conversations you have with other, in this case, probably other victims, right? Conversations you've had with the press, the FBI, the police, right? Testimony on trial. That can all distort your external retrieval of the actual memory. And then the internal is retrieval is sort of what you tell yourself, right? Misinformation would be external. Internal is inferences of what might have happened and suggestion of things to themselves. Hey, yeah, okay, possible. But then if that's the case, then why have a trial at all, right? Well, no witness is it could potentially be credible because it happened too long ago, and too many things have happened in between. Okay, so then, right? What are we talking about here? So yeah, and then, I mean, she seemed interesting, but I don't know.
Yeah, you would have to, have to move from upstairs.
Oh, we can't sit here anymore? Okay.
It's not supposed to be. No, don't do that here.
We're
You
outside.
have to go downstairs.
She can't vape outside.
Smoking area.
So go to the smoking area.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. All right. It's like we're not even free when we're outside. It's like
There's rules everywhere you go.
ridiculous rules everywhere. I mean, I'm not saying you I'm just saying in general. Like, there's a lot of rules in this world. Let's just say that seems. No, we don't have to follow all of them. No, that I do not agree. So here's the press today. You guys can see. This is what the amount of press we have this morning. And just one guy here. Honestly, I'm really kind of suffering through today. Like, I just have a lot of other things on my mind, and I'm tired. I'm sleepy. We have to go downstairs.
You go in the building, or you gotta go out on the side?
I don't know. I mean, it's just today. All of a sudden today, it's a problem. I've been doing this every single day over at the same spot. Yeah, that's what I was actually talking about this morning. Yeah, exactly. You can argue your way for anything. This is honestly how China works.
This is exactly the reason why this trial is happening, is because the vulnerable get shit on, and then everybody is at war with the vulnerable who are telling the truth and trying to say that they're having false memories.
Yep.
When there's proof that these kids are telling the freaking
An abundance
goddamn
of
truth.
it.
Exactly.
And it's like, why do we all have to waste our time with this? This is like
Right.
end of case. Like,
So then,
put her in a freaking jail.
if
That's
the
it.
prosecution does not ask this supposed false memory expert, then how do you know? Right? Like, how do you can't tell if the accusers are having real memories or not? I mean, like, just because she's some so-called false memory expert doesn't mean it doesn't apply to the accusers.
Does not apply to this at all.
Period.
Especially when you have all these other,
Right,
documentation.
there are thousands of them,
There's
for
exactly.
fucking Christ's
Yeah,
sake.
exactly.
Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, oh my God, this is fucking making me enraged. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I'm on live, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't put you. I mean, if you want, I could put you on camera. But
Sure.
all right.
I was just.
Listen to her. This is what it's like. You get a little glimpse of what it's like when we're in the overflow room and what we talk about. So
Yeah, it's nice to be. I never come out during lunch, but
yeah.
I was just emailing Graham McQueen. He's like a university professor. Like, he wrote a book about the anthrax attacks.
Okay.
And he talks a lot about, like, you know, memory and visceral, you know, when you're a visceral witness. And during 9/11, the witnesses, the visceral witnesses after the JFK assassination, after 9/11, and how none of them got called to freaking testify because nobody wants to get to the truth.
Yeah.
It's that simple. So, you know, like this is why this so-called false memory expert is, because exactly, it's like when you're vulnerable, you automatically lose.
Yeah.
Period. When you're so-called power, it's not about right and wrong. It's not about truth. It's about who's got the power. So it's now, instead of Jeffrey Epstein power, it's the false memory expert. She's more of an expert than the people who freaking experienced it. Bullshit. So this is what I mean. Like, you can't ever have your own goddamn experience, know what you know because you lived, saw, lived, felt something. You're the person with the degree knows more than you.
Yeah, that's like what I actually noticed when I in my notes, because they spend so much time trying to make these people like, I mean, she seems like a very credible person, all her awards and all that. But it's like, I'm sorry, you are not as credible as the person who is in the room experiencing it with themselves.
Exactly.
You like, I'm so sick and tired of like us putting all this weight on these establishments and this institution, and like, oh, they're always right just because she has a degree in this and that.
Right. That exactly.
I just like
this is exactly the reason why I always use the abusive family system as a template, because most people, when they grow up, are not raised to literally cut the cord. Most people are raised to follow orders all their life. So all of that suggestibility is because people are trained to follow orders.
And that's what
most
we're seeing
people
with this
are
case.
not trained to, she said, oh, we can implant whole experiences in otherwise healthy people. What is a healthy person? Who has, because this is what I have been freaking saying all my life. Who is fully raised to self-actualize, to use Abraham Maslow's term, to reach their freaking healthy potential? The Milgram experiment was all that was going on in my mind while she was talking. And all that suggestibility, because people are trained to obey authority and never, ever to rely on their own, what they, so even if they see something or think that they saw something, they're going to freaking listen to what some authority thinks that they should see for approval, unless they get validated and rewarded in some way for actually telling the freaking truth and feeling what they feel.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, this goes in like, so I just found out this morning that I was on Jimmy Kimmel last night. And you know what he said about me? He said I think he said something like, I clearly have other problems, issues.
You?
I don't know if he meant me or just people in our movement. It's like, clearly they have issues. And all I said was, let's shut down Cheesecake Factory, which, by the way, we should shut down Cheesecake Factory. But it's like, who the hell are you to tell me that I have a psychological issues or whatever he insinuated there? Like, she clearly has other issues. I think he said something along those lines. I'm like,
what did he interview you about?
He didn't interview me. He just I don't know. Somehow he found my live, a live where I just said, let's shut down Cheesecake Factory. Somebody forwarded to me and said, like, he also said some stuff about like egg rolls and stuff. I don't know. I haven't really watched the entire thing, but I'm like, I don't know if it was really racism or what, but like, look, he was trying to be funny. I'll give him that, but I have to actually watch it. I haven't.
He referred to you as.
But he said there's clearly some other issues there, and I'm like, okay, have you met me? You literally saw 2 seconds of my life, and now we just this is.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like, fine, you think I'm crazy, whatever, but you've never met me. You see 2 minutes of my 2-second live, and you're insinuating now that I have mental issues. Right? Is what they're saying.
Because he's an expert. After 5 minutes.
I clearly have issues, right? Because I don't want the government to put anything in my body. I mean, okay, I have issues. Like, I think I actually feel bad for him or anybody who has this like mentality that.
Well, I mean, it's all about ratings. It's all about, exactly. I mean, just like this expert. I mean, a so-called expert. I was reading. I have my RFK Junior. The real Anthony.
Yeah,
Fauci
everyone's
book.
been saying to read that.
No,
yeah.
listen. I gotta just read.
Okay, yeah, read it.
This part is so important. I was like, I read it on coming here, and I was like, oh my god.
Honestly, talking to you is like so much more interesting than anything that happened this morning. I'm so over this.
I lived this since 1970.
What do you mean by that?
Child abuse. I've been studying it all my life, and people have always been trying to get me to recant my testimony, make me feel like I didn't live what I lived, and that's what made me study and work. I worked out all my life because people were always trying to make you fucking think you were goddamn crazy. Because when you tell the truth, it's an inconvenience. This society does not want the truth. The public has been active participants in shutting down the free. They do it to themselves. The public.
Honestly, I have a friend whose mother wrote a book about her rape, and she never admitted to. And I told her about my friend. I told you guys about. Okay, just listen to this. She got raped. Had a son, deaf. Anyways, my friend's older brother, is deaf. And she tried to have an abortion, which is like also kind of opens conversation about abortion and all that, because she tried to have an abortion but she couldn't, and she drank all this stuff, like this disgusting stuff, and they think maybe that's why he ended up. I don't know, but anyways, she went to trial, all that. The guy was convicted. Then she was raped again. Okay, she did not want to go through that whole thing the second time. She wrote a book. She's like an advocate for it, but she's like, I can't emotionally put myself through prosecuting her second rapist. Yeah. So this is what is happening. Is the system that's supposed to protect us is actually it's creating like a second another abuse. Like it's an abuse in us, in like by telling your truth and then gaslighting you.
Because you're going again, because challenging the system, man. It's like people are just, oh my god, cowards. People are freaking
honestly
cowards.
I might not even do a live tonight because it really was that much of a waste of time. Like it was like I don't know what to even talk about today. It was like, did we get anything? Like, what do you think was the main point of this?
To just taunt what an expert she was.
It's
all.
like, why do you?
So that makes her just immediately right.
Yeah,
immediately.
I mean, granted, we had that on the other side. Like, we got a psychologist come in and talk about the different stages of abuse, and it is interesting to know about how our memory is infallible, which is obviously common sense. But to say that, but then to insinuate in any way that these victims have like totally fabricated this entire story, I find that grossly, like unfair and just in a way criminal. It's like it's abusive.
I call it? I call it the health version of climate destruction. It's like literal, like children, the vulnerable are being fracked. Just like the environment for profit, so everybody can have a fucking job and a goddamn paycheck. But anyway. So this is exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna actually can I just point the camera to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't. I wasn't prepared to do this. So
no, it's all right. I'm never prepared for any of these lives. This is just
48 of
the real Anthony Fauci. Okay.
And this part is really, really good. So this is Dr. Lori. The good guy, I'm just going to call it. And she's with the Cochrane reviewers, like, real people that really want to get to the truth. They're actually volunteers. No moolah involved. So they're trying to get this Dr. Hill. I'm just trying to, figure out. I'm just going to pick this paragraph to start reading.
Okay, let's.
So Dr. Lori, like they're trying
look at
to
her
get.
Notes.
I know. I do this to all.
Well, that's great. I mean, that's amazing. This is like people don't want to do their research.
Oh my God.
People don't want to do their work.
Okay. So during her first, page 47. During her first conversation with Hill, Dr. Lori had concluded that the techniques that Hill employed throughout his meta review were deeply flawed. and that Hill, who's getting all of these, the Bill and Melinda and the Clinton Foundation, getting all of this money, was deeply flawed, that Hill lacked the experience to perform a systemic review of meta-analysis. She was surprised that he was given the job. In fact, the transcript of her January goes, I'm completely unfamiliar. Okay, I'm just going to... I mean, this is really where... So, okay, right here. Hill explained... I know, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Dr. Lori asked Hill to explain his U-turn on ivermectin, right? It's all about, ivermectin is proven. I mean, it's been around for decades. That and hydrochloroquine.
But as a prophylactic, people are still kind of iffy about, right? But then I don't know. Has it been used as a prophylactic?
Yeah, like in countries where there's malaria.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but
it's given. Okay. They give it to, is it Guatemala? They give it to the people for free. There's a war against nature and health and truth.
Yeah.
Simply put.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Lori asked Hill to explain his U-turn on ivermectin, which his own analysis found overwhelmingly effective. How can you do this? She was asking him. She inquired politely. You are causing irreparable harm. This is like what I lived all my life, so that's why I'm so passionate about it. Hill explained that he was in a tricky situation. Tricky? Because his sponsors had put pressure on him. Hill is a University Liverpool virologist who serves as an advisor to Bill Gates and the Clinton Foundation. He told me his sponsor was Unit Aid. Unit Aid is a quasi-governmental advocacy organization funded by the Bill Melinda Gates Foundation and several European countries: France, United Kingdom, Norway, Brazil, Spain, Republic of Korea, and Chile, to lobby governments to finance the purchase of medicines from pharmaceutical multinationals for distribution to the African poor, so-called poor. I don't use money to define wealth. Sorry, it's not in my repertoire. Its primary purpose seems to be protecting the patent and intellectual property rights of pharmaceutical companies, which, as we shall see in the priority passion for Bill Gates, and to ensure their prompt and full payment. About 63% of its funding comes from a surtax on airline tickets. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation holds a board seat and chairs Unit Aid's executive committee, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has given Unit Aid $150 million since 2005. So, I mean, just take this woman, for example. All the, awards. I mean, come on. Like, you think I'm not, but when you're in freaking shit that long, like over 50 years, this woman is, doing this stuff.
Right. I mean, look, this woman
not under somebody's influence. Come on.
Right. Her research has to do with memory, which, okay, fine, that's what she does. But I wanted to hear, okay, when can we trust somebody's memory then? Like, wait, if that's the case, then I understand that our memory. And then I actually think what she said was kind of relevant to this mass psychosis that we're experiencing in this world right now, because of misinformation, because of gaslighting.
Right, don't trust your own eyes, ears.
Just trust what you see on the idiot box.
Trust some so-called expert. Right, it reinforces this idea, again, which is why I always go back to child abuse and the abusive family system, because most people fully are never raised to, self-actualize and to truly have critical thinking, which is why even with COVID, everybody's walking around with goddamn masks and getting the fucking jab.
Yeah.
Because it's all about being an adult child and we live in, and the government is your massive abusive
100%.
fucking parent.
Listen to that. That's important.
Absolutely.
Because but how do we stop this? Grow up. That's how you
Exactly.
Look, there's
Trust your own.
Yes.
Listen to your own gut. Stop giving your goddamn power away to a fucking expert.
Yeah.
You know, they're supposed to be raising use and cutting, and then the cord gets cut.
Yeah.
Not you fucking giving your power away to them and then hope that they maybe your crumbs come back in your fucking direction.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I mean, thank you. I mean, this is this.
I know this shit like the back of my.
100%.
I did this inside, outside, upside
I think
down.
of this as like, you know, so trauma can get the best of you. You know, I actually understand nihilists in their mentality, because there's a lot of like shit in this world for sure. But then it's like, we have to learn how to overcome it. And that's part of growing up. You gotta, you know, what they say, pull your boots up by the bootstraps, or whatever that saying is, and make something of yourself and grow up. And this is just what happens when you don't grow up. This is what happens is when you relinquish your control. You will become a victim, and then you will be crushed. You will be crushed. You're better than me than talking about this. I'm gonna go back to you. So
is this what your channel?
This is just on live. This is my live. I mean, I've been using my live almost like as a notebook.
What's live?
Instagram Live.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
Instagram.
I've been using it kind of like a like my notes.
Yeah, we gotta connect
a notebook.
on Instagram, and
I know,
share
and I'm
it.
gonna be in Florida on the 21st. So I'm gonna really need your help, kind of over going through the case when I'm not there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me just finish. Okay, so the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Sorry. Right, they personally own large stakes in many of the pharmaceutical companies that profit from this boondoggle. Gates also uses unit aid to fund corrupt science by tame and compromised researchers like Hill. That's what I'm saying. Just this woman could have all the degrees and experience in the world and still be corrupted.
Yeah.
It's all there is to it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what you're seeing is like a lot of people, like literally this
Like
is what
Fauci.
she had. How long was her CV? She literally, they put
47 pages.
Yeah, that's evidence. Is her CV is evidence? Like that they literally brought that into evidence today, right? Like what does this have to do with this case?
I know.
I mean, I understand. Like okay, it could be like a.
She speaks, so we're all supposed to get.
But I feel like this is their main argument today.
Right,
that
right.
The memories of these, it happened too long ago. These people don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
They've been on TV, false memories. Like they're unreliable.
Bullshit.
She's innocent. I'm like, what is this? And you know that the same legal firm defending her are the same one defending Pfizer. You know this? Did you know this? The same legal firm. The defense is legal firm.
Oh, really?
Same legal defense.
Hence why I'm not reading out of
That's why. It's why it's like it's all connected. It's all related.
Absolutely. See, I was glad that woman actually used the umbrella. It's an umbrella term, because like people need to think in terms of umbrella, like this and Pfizer and COVID and the jab. It's all. I mean, read the book Confessions of an Economic Hitman. For God's
that's
sake.
right. Mm-hmm. I read that long time ago.
This is the micro.
Yeah.
The micro.
This is exactly. We gotta see the big. Yeah.
global
100%. That's exactly what we've been talking about, right?
People don't get by now that, after the bank bailout and the banks get bailed out and the people get fucking sold out, I don't know what it's going to take for the public to realize that your government is trying to kill you. Enslave, undermine, poison, murder.
And it's, I spent a lot of time like just thinking it's your your mother wouldn't hurt you, right? Your family wouldn't hurt you.
Yeah,
like
sure.
I'm like, no. This is why the betrayal is so massive here, is that it's not that Epstein, these are predators and they're looking for vulnerable people. But the parents were the ones who were really are the ones that I'm particularly upset about.
Absolutely.
Because they are the ones that were supposed to protect. And at least that farmer, her mom, she, thank God, even though she was a single mom, she at least saw something was up. The other parents, they just sold their kids into sex slavery.
And I am so glad that you brought that up, because I was always asking that question, like all during, the whole Jeffrey Epstein stuff. And it was always coming out how like many of the victims came from, struggling, broken, poor, families.
This is bad parenting.
Right,
this is like an epidemic
exactly.
of bad parenting.
Exactly. And why do we have an epidemic of bad, crappy, dysfunctional, abusive parenting?
They were probably abused themselves.
Because again, it's the micro of the macro.
Yeah, it's a cycle.
It's literally where all the dysfunction, like you could have dysfunctional and abuse in the family system. You can have it anywhere. You can have it in companies, corporations, the White House, the Just Us system. Like, how is it healthy that we live in a world where the minority own everything at the expense of billions of people?
Yeah.
How is that a healthy system?
Yeah, it's actually, there's so we had a sit-in at the post office, and we also had it's okay. You can come in if you want. You can talk too. We had a sit-in at the post office, and yesterday at Applebee's. And the people who they said, oh, you have an old iPhone, you're poor, and it's like, and then yesterday she says you can't feed.
You're stupid.
She's like, I was like, we're protesting here because we're not able to feed our kids because we've got kicked out because of our vaccine passport thing, right? Because we didn't show Vax Pass, and it's like a kid crying, like literally they had a squad team, like it was like 30 cops surrounding Applebee's. It was the most ridiculous thing ever. Kids crying, and we're upset. And these other parents were like, oh, you can't feed your kids, you should get a job then, or something like that, something snarky. And it's like, excuse me? It's literally like they're trying to, they're literally, their defense is you're poor and I'm rich. I mean, and you don't even know that. Like, you don't know shit about my life. Literally, that's your argument, and it's happened more than once. So I'm just like, well, what is this? This is not based on logic. It's not based on empathy and compassion, that's for sure. And that's what they've been advocating for all of during lockdown, with all the riot, the BLM crap, It's like, where's the kindness and empathy towards somebody who don't have
that's what I'm saying.
Thought process. Maybe we can learn from each other. What do you think about that?
That's why I'm always using the term like health climate, like destruction.
Yeah.
Because we have to have an abusive system for profit to exist.
Yeah.
We have to abuse the environment. We have to abuse animals, and we have to abuse vulnerable.
And who's more vulnerable than the children and the elderly, right?
And did you hear what she said about satanic ritual abuse?
Oh my God, yeah.
I was like, oh my
God. She says, for example.
When
oh my
she
God, I
said
forgot about that.
Yeah, did you hear me?
Okay,
I yelled out.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, okay, explain. Okay, can you explain that?
She's trying. She made a freaking completely general term and tried to like use the whole what is called SRA, satanic ritual abuse of children and other people,
as
it's like at
fabrication,
whole, completely non-existent and like false memory.
She used it in the context of an example.
Oh, I could get my
my notes today have been dismal because I was. Partially, I was pissed.
Oh, I'm so glad for you guys to be here. No, seriously.
I
literally yelled out when I was like, oh, I said something like loud when she.
Yeah, we all were like,
I was like,
we're like, that's a crazy, just random example to give.
She called it
supposed ritual, but then she used it. Okay, wait.
Okay. Again, my notes are chicken scratch too.
Yeah. See, this is what our notebooks. Look at our notebooks.
Oh, right. They were talking about the defense was asking her about measuring emotion. Right. When you use the term like if car accidents smash into each other as opposed to hit one another, people can say that there was broken glass there when there was none.
Right. We talked about. I said that. I explained that to them earlier. So
and
that's
I
good.
wrote COVID like an exclamation points because this whole thing is a fucking theater. Entered. Oh, right. Right. You can plant entire experiences into people. Suggesting to that a child witnessed parents abusing one another. why would anybody want to do that? Maybe they're the abusers for doing that. Triggers emotions. We certainly hope. Oh, and then when she said, "Oh, we certainly hope we didn't harm anybody by doing that," I was like,
Oh, that's right. That's
oh my
right.
God.
Did anybody believe that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because they're like certain experiments they're not able to do because it might harm people.
Oh, gee, yeah. Exactly.
You think?
It's just like fucking
planting fake memories into somebody.
Fauci with his beagle fucking experiments and okay, so then plant false memory review. Oh, you're right. So she the committee reviews these experiments, so that they don't hurt anybody. They have to approve. Well, father. Oh, right. Like that. A father can force you to sacrifice animals or babies. Oh, we see these claims, of satanic ritual abuse. Like, like insinuating that they're planted in people. When she said that, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That is this is so evil. So fucking evil. And to, because if she told the truth, this woman, she wouldn't have a 47-page CV.
Yeah.
Period.
Ugh.
Period.
God. Someone says they see you in the background, by the way, Nadia.
Right. She
Yeah, so someone is actually asking right now if you want to look at your notes for a quick second. Yeah, so the defense team, that same company or their firm is also defending Pfizer. That's I think someone could fact check me on that. Someone told me that, and I think it's true.
And then again, it just goes into memories being bolstered. It's oh God, it's all about like the amount of leverage that a person has.
Right, and its leverage is now through PhDs, it's through institutions. Everything is through an institution. And when the institution is faulty and corrupt, what does that say about all your years and years of trying to get that degree?
I wish the prosecution, if they were smart, they would ask this woman about her freaking upbringing. Like, how did she get to become this? Because clearly when you have issues of child abuse, you're not going to end up like her.
But that's the thing. The moment you figure out that she is her upbringing, she's not. I mean, you could be empathetic of Nadia was actually talking to me about this. She was talking to me about was the book that you said Fall, that book Fall, and it talks about her background, Ghislaine's background, and how abusive her family situation was.
Yeah,
like they would rotate the brothers and sisters. The parents would decide.
Where was this?
I don't. This is a book called Fall, I think, and it's the way the parents, they would choose a favorite. It was arbitrary, and then they all knew it, and they, no matter how much you did, how much you accomplished, how much love you gave them, they chose a favorite, and then they would play games with the kids. And so that's supposedly how Ghislaine groomed these victims. They pit them against each other. And I kind of experienced that a little bit too in my family. Like, it's always this comparison. Like, your cousin's doing good, and and it's like they're trying to pit. Like, even I don't have siblings, but I see this all the time where the parents will pit the kids against each other so that they could get love, right? So that they could get validation. That they're the center. I'm sorry, if you're a parent, your kids. If they have siblings, your job is to make them to have them be best friends, because that's the longest relationship they're going to have in their life is with their brothers and sisters.
This is why the youth are screwed, because even parents are in on fucking them.
This is the sad thing. Yeah,
literally like youth are literally like manufactured to be abused, to be slaves, to be sacrificed. Period.
Yeah.
And on some level, whether it's at the really dark level of satanic ritual abuse, or just every day going to your slave fucking job, being in student debt, and never goddamn getting anywhere.
There's did you see about this? There's on Instagram. There's some sort of satanic church, and they ask for people who want abortions to sacrifice the kidding. I don't. And it's like a huge. It's like on Instagram. It's like a huge.
Do your
has a huge following.
Do your followers know about the Franklin Credit Union scandal?
No, tell me.
Well, it was before Jeffrey Epstein. It was like kind of Maine was in Omaha, Nebraska at this Franklin Credit Union with Larry King, who orchestrated. I mean, like in the White House, big wigs in the White House, law enforcement, politicians, and it was all using children to blackmail people in power, sacrificing them. I mean, traumatizing them, killing them. And Alicia Owen was from the Franklin Credit Union scandal, who spoke at the EpsteinJustice.org event that on December the 4th over there. Nick Bryant, who wrote the Franklin scandal book, brought her over to speak. I mean, it was the first time she ever spoke, and this is going back 1988.
Oh wow!
Was when her so she I offered to interview her, but she's reluctant. Nick said.
Well, we know I have some followers who have survived like ritual abuse.
Exactly.
It's like it's one of those that sometimes, I'll be honest, I'm one of those people that when I don't want to research things, because I don't want to go too deep in the rabbit hole because I get scared, but then when you have followers who are like telling you this and they experience it themselves, it's their reality. I don't know what to say, like okay. So, Kat, tell them how they can find you.
OneGreatWorkNetwork.com.
OneGreatNetwork.com.
OneGreatWorkNetwork.com.
OneGreatWorkNetwork.com. Okay, that's your website.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then you have YouTube though, right?
Yeah, I kind of stopped using it because they just always take stuff down. So I have it for 10 years and documented all of Occupy Wall Street.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how would they be able to search that then?
Cat, C-A-T, April like the month, Waters with 2 T's.
Okay.
So Cat space, April space, Waters with 2 T's.
Okay.
That's YouTube.
Yeah, because I saw someone say they think you're a smart lady and they love your fur coat.
I have this for so long and I never wear it. So I'm like,
well, obviously you should.
Thank you. I mean,
so that's that. Honestly, I have to get ready for Florida. I have this, so I don't know if I'm gonna do a live tonight, honestly, because with the information that we got. Okay, I'll do a quick one. Plus, I'm getting censored. I'm getting censored, and we'll see. I'll do maybe a quick one tonight. I have a lot of errands to run. I'm telling you, I have a lot of errands I need to do. So I'm gonna do my best. I'll keep coming. I'll be honest. This morning, I did not take good notes. I was more pissed and I was annoyed by the whole mask thing, and I don't know, I'm just in a bad mood today. Sorry guys. So I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys soon. Okay. Hopefully this was enough of a recap of this morning. You could kind of get a sense of how we in the overthrow room feel, and kind of the conversations that go on. And it's usually the overflow room is more talking to the people here are more interesting. So all right, talk to you guys soon.